Happy Monday.
Happy Monday to everyone. How is everyone?
Good.
Yeah, really good. Much better than last Monday.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, it was interesting last Monday, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think we were all just riding the waves together.
Yeah. I just put the link into the chat. We haven't got anyone. Oh, now we've got someone. Someone's just jumped on to say hello. Would love for you to say hello in the chat and let us know that you're watching. So everyone had a good weekend?
Yeah. Sorry, I've just drawn our first card. It's a big one.
It's a big one, is it?
Yeah.
Let's go for it.
Strap yourself in.
Okay, strap yourself in. Well, we may as well jump in.
We dive in.
We've got a couple of people on. We'd love for you to say hello in the chat.
Let's see if you can see that. So the first card today is beautifully separately together. The gaps we feel with our significant other create expectations for them to discover the way, paved by us, designed by us, walked by us, for us. So why do we expect they know the way or want to know or need to know? So love them on their path whilst walking yours with a smile on your face. Decide on that place to meet and connect and reflect on how far you've come beautifully separately together.
Oh, that's lovely.
Mm.
And so like I've just had my kids over for the weekend, right? So I'm gonna let you guys start it,
and then you're gonna jump in.
I'll jump in and say what comes up for me, because of course it's not about my partner, but you know, be recognizing how far I've come and where my children, like, you know, if we, I may as well start now. If we are, you know, programmed and conditioned for the first, you know, 5-6 years of our lives, we're sponges and we're like, you know, in a hypnotic state, and we're just absorbing everything. I think about what I was doing in that part of my children's lives, and I was separating from their father, and I was in a really bad place, and I was too scared to speak up, and it was really brave of me to move when, like, to leave him when I couldn't, you know, like I was scared and I didn't believe in myself, and so I'm sure that all of that has, you know, and then we were moving a lot, and we moved to the country in New South Wales, and then we moved up to Cairns, and we slept on a quilt on the floor, and blah, 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 all the stuff that really, you know, was a bit full on. And so if that's now, you know, where they're at now, like in this conditioned response without even recognizing it, because we haven't spoken that much, you know, like they've definitely moved into a place that's their own choice. And, you know, I honor and respect that. And so it's just watching, you know, the dynamics of every so often wanting to say something. And, you know, this weekend, because they came over for the weekend, and wanting to say something, and then, am I, you know, this is my meaning, this is my perception, this is my definition, and that's their life. And, you know, who am I to, you know, they're 27 and nearly 26, you know, like, who am I to make a statement of what they should be or shouldn't be doing at that age, you know, like.
So allowing them to walk the path without you trying to direct or and I don't think this card is just about relationships, partners. It's about all relationships, you know, that we try to maintain control over, as humans.
Yes.
We try to maintain control over children, over partners, over, so that we
our life.
So that we ourselves feel safe and secure, and in that process we stifle growth and create expectations and judgments and disappointment and all of this icky stuff So, yeah, I'm really glad that you brought up your children. And it's interesting because I've been going back over a lot of old photos and videos. And just this morning with Millie, I was watching videos of when I was heavily pregnant with her. And Mum's like, Millie's like, Mum, you look 58. No, that looks like your 58-year-old sister who died of lung cancer.
Thanks, Millie.
I was 20. I was
the mouths of babes, right?
Anyway, so it's pretty interesting. But seeing Tom as a 2-year-old playing in the water and hearing him talk and all of that sort of stuff, and him just being here on the weekend. And one of my highlights of the weekend was him. Not that he was leaving, but when he was leaving, I took Pepper for a walk and he drove off and he turned around the corner at the end of Corey Street with his sunglasses on and his little Corolla, and I'm like, oh, there goes my boy. Like beautifully separately together, right? So he's not living with me anymore, and he hasn't for quite a long time, but letting him come back and have the conversations and connect with me when he needs to, and him knowing that landing pad is always there for us to reconnect. And it goes off again.
Yeah.
Little sunny's on.
Yeah. It's good, isn't it? Hey, because my kids are here for the weekend. They're actually still here. So my son's doing work from home, like at the office. He's in a meeting in the other room. And it's really we had the whole weekend. We went and bought some board games, cracked up, like it was really good, and that beautifully separately together, because one of the things that we've been doing in my Conscious Creator Mastermind, as you would know, Nicolette, we're doing like a 60-day challenge of making your choices in the morning. What do you choose? You know, who are you choosing to be? And there's a bit more to it. But so I've been doing my choices, right, every morning, and just watching the dynamics. There was 1 or 2 times that I went into my identity and didn't say anything. I just felt, and I was just reflecting on, their identity and what they're like now, but I, it was that separately together, process and the respect of this is who they are and this is who they came down to be and all of those things. But the difference in the dynamics, because I chose, to live the life I love and whatever it was that my statements were for the morning, all the way through the weekend. And like we just had crack up, like there was moments that may have been challenges before that weren't, because I made a different choice. So it was really interesting to watch that dynamic.
That's really beautiful. I've just been absorbing it all. For me, and I've actually been feeling really overwhelmed with some really big emotion from this morning's topic, because it's such a big one. And I don't think any of us move through our soul's journey without coming to this exact point of sometimes feeling that sense of desperateness for the ones that are closest to us, that we love the most, to be on their journey as well. And if we feel that that gap is getting bigger, or those energetic cords are stretched to their capacity now, because we're essentially operating in different vibrations, philosophy, modes of being, all those things, and that's been maxed out. I know I've certainly felt times where, I've been impatient for the ones that I love to kind of be like, guys, it's actually really beautiful on this side, like, I know it's kind of scary to let everything go and drop, the conditioning and, those stories that we tell ourselves to keep ourselves safe. And, one of the biggest learning points that I had was with someone really close to me that I love a lot, and who is so very powerful, and yet chooses not to play. and you know, and it's like, what are you waiting for?
Yeah.
And it's funny, like, yeah, come on. And it's just like, while ever I was holding that cord, being like, it's really great on this side, there was just so much resistance. And so what I actually learned to do, and I'm sure you ladies have done the same, but it's just drop the cord, and not in a judgmental way, not in a defeated way, but from a place of pure acceptance that either way, whether you choose to play or not play, that is absolutely your choice. You are okay either way. I am okay either way. I love you irrespective of that. And now we can just actually be together and enjoy one another. And paradoxically, what tends to happen is, as soon as we drop that, because there's no longer the resistance, they actually go, oh, maybe I will take a step towards, you know, and not that you do it with that intention, because it has to come from that place of, I purely accept and love either way. It doesn't matter. It's only with that level of freedom that they're then able to have it from their own choice of freedom as to what they want to do. Yeah. So,
and I love your whole acceptance, because I often say that, as you know, myself, is out of respect for you know, everyone's choices, right? And even the choice to not choose, or to not be aware of the choices, is still a choice. Like, you know,
the choice to not make a choice.
Yeah, the choice to not make a choice, or the choice to, I don't want to hear the choices. Like, I don't want to hear the choices. I'm happy in my safe bubble, and that's okay. And so, you know, who are we to play God or devil's advocate or whatever it is in any dynamic, when it's, you know, everyone's got choices and they came down, or, you know, we're here for a reason, we're here to experience. And talking about cards, I've got a beautiful deck that are downstairs that I often pick. And, like, you know, there's a card deck about this big, and I continuously get this one called Family of Light. And it's always, like, it's so pertinent, because it's about that we're, you know, most people are here to love their family and friends, but that you're here to, you know, to love the, you know, the wider community of the world, and, you know, like, step up and you know, love unconditionally, and stop feeling like you've got to take these guys with you, sort of thing, basically. And it came up on the weekend.
Yeah.
And I just went, you know, every time it comes up, there's a new preface to it, a new meaning to it, you know, like, there's a new definition to it. And I'm like, oh, wow, you know, like, letting go of even my children's expectations of what I'm supposed to be as a mother. And, you know, like, I'm here to step up. I'm here to, you know, as we all are. So I'm pretty sure there'd be people on here. Vicky's just saying good morning. We've got Helen on here as well, and someone else, I'm assuming maybe Irene. Has anyone had this experience with, you know, wanting to support their friends or their family to, when you think you've got a better way? I know.
A really great example is a little while ago, Millie said to me, oh, Mum, I've been meditating for ages. I just didn't want to tell you because it would please you too much. Because I did exactly, like, I really think that you would benefit from, you know, how about you just look at this YouTube video, or how about you take some time to be in stillness, and then I just gave up because she wasn't responding. She was doing it anyway.
Yeah. Because it would please you. Isn't it interesting age groups? Because I was thinking of my kids in their 20s. Yeah. You know, and I was thinking what I was doing in my 20s, and I'm thinking, yeah, at least they want to come and visit me. They want to hang out, want to cheat at board games.
The next card is love. Lead with love in every moment. When you lead with love, there is no room for resentment, discord, jealousy, or judgment. Love people where they are in their journey, not where you wish them to be. When appreciation replaces expectation, your heart radiates energy to support your dreams. Lead with love.
Well, is there anything more to say? Like, yeah. There's just a summary of everything that we've just been speaking about, right?
Yeah. So I think we need a third card because that was just the answer.
But what I wanted to talk about too is it's not only our expectations of other people, it's also when we are with family or we are with the people that we love and we drop into a role that we feel they expect of us. So we're quashing our own dreams and our own creating of our life because we're, okay, this is the box that I fit in. When I'm with this person, I'm going to behave like that because that's how I know how to connect with them where they're at. And I don't know about you guys, but when that happens for me, I get lost in the box for a while and I go, who am I again? Like, who am I outside of that role with that person? And it takes me a bit to flow in and out with my different relationships.
I can't remember where I heard it from. It may have been Jeanette Mundy, who's an ontological coach. It may have been from her, but it's actually called something coupling, and it's
you were talking about that the other day.
Yeah, and it's actually got to do with like the patterns, our neural pathways and stuff. Like this, you know, like they fire together in those particular relationships, and so they cement in and you respond to their reactions and vice versa, and it's called coupling. I can't remember what the first one was.
Okay, that card, are you ready?
Yeah, go for it.
Freedom inside. I feel a freedom inside myself that wasn't there before. The unease and shame I had has released, washed up to the shore. The rhythm of the waves, I miss them. Over and over they broke me, but now I seem to have within me a new sandbar filled with shells and sparkles and smells, designing my future without the desire for comfort, commitment, or adoring gazes. They were shallow, slippery, well-meant, but I missed their intent. I was too busy claiming my future in their eyes, not my own. What are my desires and my rewires? So I'm just going to read that bit again. I was too busy claiming my future in their eyes, not my own.
I find with that expectation and roles, what I find plays out in really subtle ways is it's not necessarily what we do with others, but it's what we don't do. Because when you're at that point of emergence or soul expansion or really living with intention and kind of serving those higher missions, you're also aware that the choices you make does have a ripple effect to everyone. And if others aren't quite at that point of change, because we're not necessarily we're not in control of the ripples, that's kind of the point, but in knowing that what we do has impact on others and impact on the ones that we love, I find that often it can be what isn't done when we're in a dynamic. So rather than being the full expression of ourselves, you know, it's the holding back in knowing that a change for me, also means a change for others. And it becomes that kind of, well, where's the sweet spot of honoring what has been previously built, and honoring what's next, and also embracing that sometimes that means a tower moment where everything that was actually crumbles and falls away to allow for the new. And that takes a tremendous level of bravery to step into, in going, everything that we have previously held as sacred, now we don't know, because you put, you roll a pebble down a hill, you don't know where it's going to land. And it's part of the journey to have faith that where it does is divinely intended, and that we will cope no matter where that lands. So in terms of expectations and roles, it's not necessarily what we find ourselves doing in that, but what are we not doing in that for fear of disrupting the status quo?
And I just keep getting, we don't want to rock the boat. But and that fear of rocking the boat, it keeps us, like, it is actually paralyzing. And then when what is actually needed is that, like you said, the tower moment, or the boat capsizing, washing up to the shore, and we build a new bloody
yeah.
Well, the other part of that, is when you really step into understanding that you're constantly growing and accepting yourself and loving yourself, right? In those moments, like I think about my family who have absolutely no idea what I do. Like my mum is constantly, like she's just in a different space, and my two brothers don't even ask. One of them, she's, doing hippie stuff or whatever. And so it's really interesting when you can really own yourself and be okay with who you are in those moments of being able to, like, there's a difference between, where I'm going with this is there's a difference between not doing something in a relationship, you guys come together, and you hold back parts of yourself out of fear of rocking the boat, or being judged, or being perceived as different, or, somehow, disrupting the status quo. There's a difference between that and actually holding parts of yourself at peace, because you know that they won't understand it, and you're just flowing with the energy of the conversation or the relationship, and out of respect for the dynamics, you're not going to share that part because they wouldn't understand it, and then, or they're going to feel uncomfortable themselves. It takes them out of their comfort zone. So when you can really just sit in that place of really, this is who I am, and I'm okay not to share that part just because I want to have a beautiful relationship with you. And so sometimes there's not sharing just because you want to keep that beautiful love relationship.
It's that same beautifully separately together, right?
Yeah.
That's the part of you that is going on a bit of a different journey that you don't necessarily have to involve that person in.
Yeah. But see, there's a difference, you don't share because there's fear, but then there's a not sharing because it's just not appropriate. Like, it's trying to justify yourself and look at me and, like somehow get, that confirmation.
Because it's driven by approval.
Yes. Yeah.
Instead of being driven by sharing of yourself to connect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Beautiful.
I think what you said about that inner peace, and I think, we also just want to be really gentle with ourselves whilst we're arriving at that point, because, when we look at things from the most global or zoomed out perspective, I think it can be really easy to kind of go, oh, yeah, that makes sense, and that's where everything fits, and so I'm okay with that. And then I think when things are inherently tied and of the heart nature, I also just feel kind of called to speak about self-compassion as well, because like sometimes when we talk about these really big concepts, as they're absolutely fundamentally true, and the journey to arrive at that point can also be really harrowing. So
absolutely.
So just holding
absolutely.
space for both, and if you're finding it tricky or you feel that pull, that's completely okay and normal and part of the journey. And so how we hold ourselves while we're arriving at that place of of peace and self-acceptance and self-love, and being okay within our center, whether we share or not, whether we're received in the way that we intend or would like or not, that's a soul journey to arrive at that place of neutrality and peace and centeredness.
And can take many, many, many years depending on the relationship. I think about my brother in particular, and how much I so wanted him to understand me, because in my eyes, I believe that we were on the same page. We were, because he was very scientific and I was learning about my spirituality. But to me, it was on the science level, from a different perspective than the woo-woo, and we would just clash every time I'd come to together with him. Just oh look, I've got this to share with you now. Look. Can't you see what I can see? And he would just slam me because I didn't understand myself enough at that stage, and I was trying to get approval and a connection, and and he would slam me big time, and it wasn't, and it was a soul journey. It was a process to discovering more of myself, more acceptance, more compassion of my own. Then I didn't need that from him, so
absolutely.
Yeah.
And then you have the relationship that's based on respect for each other, rather than this push pull of approval and disapproval, or however that.
And the way I learned to view it, because I can really relate, being in the kind of earlier stages of such big paradigm shifts, and at that time, it's all shades of beautiful and overwhelming, and so there's a part of us that looks for it to be a shared experience, because, we're wanting some kind of safety and security to say, am I still loved? Am I still accepted? Am I still okay? Yeah. And often in that that early phase, there's a lot that we're experiencing that we haven't actually consciously gone after. We're finding that we're getting downloads and receiving a lot, trying to make sense of it. And so, of course, we're going to turn to the ones that are closest to us, or that we've got that backing with. And then if they mirror back to us that we're somehow crazy or not okay, that's going to be incredibly.
And the whole world's doing that.
Exactly. And so for me, I think that importance of, one, finding your soul tribe, of being like, no, this is a shared language and I'm not crazy, and there's people that get it and that I don't have to struggle with to get it. I think that's a really important part of the journey. And then the other part that's coming through for me is the ones that we tend to struggle with the most, or clash with the most, and particularly the ones that are closest to us. I learned they are our closest soulmates, and I learned to view those experiences of them clashing or having a different perspective as a gift. Because if I could experience that different perspective reflected to me, that perspective exists out in the world, and far more prevalent. But the fact that they're actually gifting that to us in really a sacred and safe space, in that they are our nearest and dearest. And so, of course, there's going to be, in some cases, blood is thicker than water, or whatever it is, but there's going to be a part of the relationship that's maintained because these are your closest people. So in viewing it as that's one of my nearest and dearest soulmates offering me the gift of experiencing a different perspective, and now how do I stay true to myself, my authentic self, where I stand, and what I'm about, and potentially integrate that in the next time I present this information. That is such a powerful gift.
So powerful. That's so powerful. And
that's
I
happened with me and my brother, actually. Yeah.
had a conversation with Millie this morning before I took her to school, and we were talking about my dad, her grandfather, and they have always clashed, like massively clashed. We lived together for 6 months in mum and dad's unit, and they just fought. I mean, dad and I were fighting anyway, but little Millie, who was like 6, and granddad, going at it all the time. And she handles him so well now. And I said to her, what changed for you, Mooch? Because she would get so angry with his point of view on things and try to force him to see, and he would try to force her to see his point of view, And she said, oh, well, Mum, I've just decided to try to think when I'm talking with people, I try to think how they think and understand why they are the way they are, why they think the way they, and it wasn't just about Dad, but all of her relationships. And she's so peaceful in her interactions with people now compared to the little like firecracker she was. She still has that behind it, but there's so much more power in allowing people to come and flow and interact with you in that in a way that feels comfortable for them rather than so how cool that on the
how old is she
as well? 14.
How awesome, hey? Some wise little wise head on her shoulders. So we have gone over a little bit. What has anyone got anything exciting happening this week?
I am so excited because the first of my prints have arrived. So I've got a company that's printing my artworks for me, and I ordered one of each style that's available on my website, and they've arrived, and the quality is amazing, and they look like a painting. They look like
awesome.
An original painting, but they're a print, and I'm so stoked. I'm so stoked for that. So I'm sort of riding the wave of that and getting my head around marketing for my website and all of the structural things that I hate. But but I'm embracing it.
Right? Have to be done. Yeah.
I'm speaking at Zonta International here in the Toowoomba Group tomorrow night, so that will be really nice. Talking about Light Tower and the Diamond Mind, and kind of the impact of Corona on mental well-being, and what we can do moving ahead to help ride the waves. So that will be really lovely. And I've also got a graphic that has been plaguing me. It's quite a layered concept around the process of manifestation that is finally coming together as to what it needs to be. So that's really exciting to finally have a visual representation of that. So that's a big thing ticked off for me. And then just business as usual as well. So clients and workshops and that kind of thing.
Beautiful.
That's awesome. I have no idea what I've got on this week.
Irene, where are you?
Hey?
I said, Irene, where are you?
Yeah, that's right. I have to look in my, a weekend with the kids, and clients and more clients. There is nothing major happening this week. So yes, it's just clients.
Yeah, and that's
lovely.
a journey every day, isn't it?
What was that? Sorry.
That's a journey every day.
Yeah. Well, today Mondays I have off, so I haven't got any clients today. And as I said, I've got my 2 kids here, so
Some more board games.
sort of work. They're working, so I'm going to be sort of pottering, and I'll make some nice lunch for everyone and all that sort of stuff. So
Cool.
looking forward to that. Yeah. Well, take care, ladies.
Have a beautiful week.
Thank you.
Yes.
You too. Yes.
Big, beautiful week to everyone watching. Thank you for watching. And we will catch you next week.
Bye.
See ya.